When mindfulness and creativity come together, the result is pure joy. Hello, Tim here in my workshop. So many of my friends tell me that I'm a good storyteller. I love to tell stories, and every piece of work I do has a story. I just completed one which is a particularly unusual story. I thought I'd share it with you. A few weeks ago, a good friend of mine, John White, he asked me if I would be interested in taking on a job which they'd approached him about. It's for making a model staircase. And I thought, model staircase sounds interesting. From my model making days, I thought, well, I'd have a look at it. And I was introduced to a young lady in London. We corresponded by email, and she sent me a photograph of a staircase she'd seen somewhere on the internet, and she really felt she'd like to get one for her mother, who wanted to use it as a meditation object whilst recovering from illness. So meditation object also rang a bell for me. So okay, and so she sent me a photograph of this object, this little model staircase, and I took on the project, and I made my own, which was made in London plain burr, so it had a lot of texture in the wood. Made a section of little steps, glued them together, and then shaped them, and I made it rather slightly more delicately and more detailed perhaps than the photograph that she gave me, the impression being it's a kind of almost a spiritual staircase going into space. So when I finished the project, they seemed very happy, took some photographs, and having some problems figuring out how to deliver it or mail it without it getting broken, I agreed to go and deliver it for them in London. And I also decided at the same time to take the opportunity to visit the man who illustrated my storybook, Victor Lunn Rockcliffe. So I dropped the staircase off with my friends. We had a nice long conversation there. They loved the little model staircase. I left there and went to my friend Victor's house, who I haven't seen for many years. And as an artist, he's always very keen to show me his work, which was always a delight. As we were going through some of he had these large, he called them like big scrolls, long paintings, and he was rolling it out in sections, and there was a drawing of a little boy looking at a model staircase almost identical to the one that I've been making, or the one I'd shown to work from. It's extraordinary, you know. And I said, and then so I showed him the photograph of the piece I just made, and he smiled and he said, well, you know, what gave you the inspiration? So I said, well, inspiration came from the client, and here's the picture from the client. So then Victor took me into his house, and he had an identical wooden staircase in his house on the bookshelf, which he tells me he bought from at the British Museum. So extraordinary series of events that all tied up with the project for making the little model, and then finding myself just a few minutes, 20 minutes later, at a friend's place with it had the same thing, and he'd been drawing it or painting a picture of it with his grandson. So interesting coincidence. So I just thought it would be a nice story to share, introduction, a video introduction to some of the work on the website. It's the Fine Art Gallery Works website. Okay,